If you're in the process of planting your own garden, I've got some super fun garden markers to show you. Just a few supplies, some modeling clay, a little bit of paint, some embellishments, and some stamps. You can make these super adorable garden markers. So let me show you how to make these. To start this project out, we are going to take the white Sculpey clay out of the packaging, take half of it and work it in your hands till it warms up. Once it's nice and moldable, then you'll take it and place it on parchment paper, and you'll take a rolling pin or other round object and roll it out till it's about 1/4 inch thick and a rectangular shape. Then you'll grab your ruler and a pizza cutter, and you are going to cut strips that are 3/4 inch wide by about 4.5 inches tall. Any of the extra you can just toss off to the side and keep it, and we can work that together later to make more garden markers. We're going to cut the tops so that they are square, and we are going to shape the bottoms so that they are a point at the bottom. So you'll cut a little bit off of each side. I wanted the tops of my garden markers to be a little bit of a softer look, so I rounded out the edges on each side just by pushing it with my fingers and smoothing it out. So I did that to both of my garden markers. Now that we've got our garden markers to the shapes that we want them, we are going to add a little bit of texture by using embossing folders that are typically used for scrapbooking. On the top 3/4 inch of each of our garden markers, we are going to emboss different designs. So here we're going to start out with butterflies. We're just going to push it onto the top of the garden marker. You'll push it down until the clay squishes a little bit. You'll see it move out on each side. We'll touch that up later. And then you'll slowly pull it up. Next, we're going to add the label to our garden marker by using rubber stamps. This is from Stampendous. It's a mini alphabet. We are going to take the label that we want, lay it out in order that we want it. We're putting it vertically and centered. And then you can either just push each of these little stamps into the center of your clay, or you can put them on an acrylic block if you want to line them up beforehand. And then you can slowly press it into the clay until you can see an imprint. Then we'll grab that same embossing folder that we used before, and we are going to emboss right below the label that we just put in there, so the bottom has a little bit of decoration too. Then we're going to go back in and smooth out the edges, get it back to the shape it was beforehand. So you can grab a little bit of water to help smooth everything out. Later on, you'll see me show you how to use a ruler, either a metal or a plastic ruler, to help really recreate those nice straight edges along each side of the garden marker. And then you'll get to go back and repeat the same process on the second garden marker. Once your garden markers are exactly how you want them to be, you can put them on a baking sheet because they will later be placed in the oven and baked according to the directions on the package. And then you can go back with the remainder of your clay and make more garden markers. Then you'll place all your garden markers on a cookie sheet and bake them in the oven according to the directions on the package. Once your garden markers are out of the oven and cooled off, then you can paint them with outdoor paint and fine paint brushes. So here I am just decorating on the top of the garden marker and the bottom. I'm leaving the part with the garden label plain, so I'm not putting anything over that. So here you can really use your creativity. You can do some shading, you can do different colors on the top and the bottom. You can really do whatever your heart desires at this point. Painting the garden markers may take 2 to 3 coats. Let it dry between each coat and then go back in and paint over what you had previously painted. We want to paint the top of the garden markers, everywhere except for where our word label is, the sides, and the back. When the top of your garden marker is completely dry, then we're going to go in with a fine point Sharpie. I chose the color black, and we are going to go over the imprinted words. This is really going to make them stand out and pop so you can see them from a distance. Once the front of the garden marker is completely finished, we're going to flip it over to the back side and apply 3 coats of paint to the back side. Once everything is painted, then you will let it dry completely, and you are ready to put your markers in your garden. We did use an outdoor paint. If you want to really be careful and make sure they are weatherproof, you can spray them with a clear sealer and they should be ready for all types of weather. You can find all the supplies to make these at craftsdirect.com and go to the Projects tab.